What is going on, everybody? I am Justin. I'm here with my man Tiago, and we are the Painted Lines. Welcome to our Sixers post-game show of the Sixers versus the Magic game. The Sixers win 101 to 96. Honestly, there was a lot of times in this game where I was not sure if they were going to come out with the victory, but they got it done. So, Tiago, how you doing, man? Let's talk about it.
Good, man. I never thought that Franz Wagner pick and roll was going to put the Sixers outcome in jeopardy tonight. But,
Yeah.
the Sixers didn't look like they were very interested in playing tonight, and they almost paid a hefty price for it in the end. Thankfully, they came out on top, or else this would have been a very, very damning loss on their part against what I thought probably the worst team in the NBA, if not one of the worst teams in the NBA.
Yeah, and here's the honest to God fact that just the efficiency has just been pretty bad all around. Like your shooters aren't hitting shots as consistently as you need it. And I don't know if what you call Tobias Harris at this point when it comes to shooting, because his 3-point shot is just like I feel like last year and the year before that at times he was like a guy that 50% of the time I was like, okay, it's probably gonna go in. Now, like I almost expect him to miss when he's shooting a 3-pointer in transition, and I'm not really sure why that is.
Yeah, I mean, Tobias has some previous. I'm trying to look up his shooting numbers right now, but I know he's had some shooting slumps in the past. I mean, he's gone through
Yeah,
situations just shot like 2 for 12, 1 for 11. And I think the worst thing you want Tobias at this point to do is to stop shooting.
yeah,
And the reason why I say that is because when you look at his overall game, he's not giving you much more of the shot than the shot itself. I mean, it's a lot of contested stuff. It's not a lot of, shot creation, doesn't get to the line a lot. His defense seems to kind of regress a little bit this year. So you want him taking those 3-point shots and you hope for them fall because his career average seems to be pretty good,
yeah,
to above average, to even a good 3-point shooter. So you hope he continues to shoot. I'm not as concerned about him as a shot maker.
yeah,
I'm concerned about how they use Tobias within the offense, especially with the emergence of Tyrese Maxey. And we continue to see games where Tobias takes on this isolation role within the offense, and it continues to be an issue over again within how they get offense with the structure of their starting lineup. So that one part is what really concerns about Tobias.
yeah. Like I think you like said everything that I had thoughts on Tobias. So I think we don't have to go further into that. But I know you brought up Tyrese Maxey, and he something that he was doing really, really, really well at for the like opening stretch of these games, especially when Joe and Tobias were on the bench, or sorry, not on the bench, but on the injury report. Um, he was being very, very, very efficient. Like he was at like 60% from the field, 50% from three type efficient on most nights. Tonight, what was he like 2 for 12 or something like that? Like
12.
what was he two? Yeah, 2 for 12. I mean, the one thing you could say is his efficiency went up a lot in the assist to turnover ratio. I mean, he had 9 assists tonight with 0 turnovers. So you love to see that from a guy at your point guard spot. But when it comes to shooting, like if he can put both together, and there have been nights where he's been able to, but if he can put both together, and that's the efficiency that he typically has on the court, like when it comes to his own getting his own shots, and then the efficiency of the passing, man, like guy's going to be dangerous. But like overall, what do you think about Tyrese Maxey's game?
Yeah, I mean, a big part of how he gets scoring, and we've seen that over his 1+ year now in the NBA, is attacking off the drive.
Yeah,
And either settling for that, sweet floater that he's got in the mid range, or he's got that speed dribble that takes him all the way to the rim.
mm-hmm.
And tonight he ran into a guy called Mo Bamba, who is quite a lengthy rim protector.
Yes, he is.
And you saw how his lack of size plays a role in his inability to finish at the rim against elite rim protectors. I mean, Mamba's got some elite rim protecting traits for a big. So, 2 for 12, a lot of that stuff is, again, around the rim, him trying to finish through much, much bigger guys. And you hope that he's able to develop over time counter to that speed dribble kind of finish at the rim when he's dealing with a big, lengthy center. Things like we talked about in the past with Maxi, kind of the little pocket pass that you can do with kind of Embiid sitting under the rim with Bamba kind of rotating. That's an easy bucket for Embiid if he's ever able to kind of slow down a little bit and make that pass. So there are counters to how he can contribute to scoring without actually scoring, and you hope he's able to find that over the course of his career. And there's no reason why he can, because he's going to do film studies, going to have nights like tonight and really, see the bigger picture. And I didn't think tonight was so much as a function of his kind of shot as much of his kind of shot selection around the rim.
Mm-hmm.
It comes with experience. You saw against Minnesota, the turnover late, inexperience. Tonight, inexperience. And I'm okay with the Sixers going through these pains with Maxi, because they have enough talent to overcome a team like Orlando, even with Maxi playing a very subpar game. So these are good learning opportunities for him, but he's got to start showing growth as a finisher and not just a guy who could just run downhill and have that sweet layup that he has, which is a very powerful tool, but he's got to develop counters to that as well.
Something that I've noticed that I have seen growth in his game is when he goes for that speed, wow, words escaping me right now, but the quick first step thing with the scoop layup that he loves to get at. I have noticed that and I did notice that at times in this game when Mo Bamba was creeping at him, or Franz Wagner, is that Wagner?
Yep.
Was going there, he was able to hit the guy in the corner at times. And I noticed not only this game, but in the past few games, is that seeing him really get better at wrapping the ball around that center and shooting it to the corner. And that's something that is obviously really, really nice to see out of a point guard, to have that type of vision, to see a Georges Niang, a Seth Curry, Danny Green open in the corner. I don't know. I don't disagree with you though. But I do see growth. And as a second-year player who was handed the keys on a contending basketball team, I feel like he's doing pretty well for a guy that was picked in the 20s in the draft and is now the starter on a contending team.
He is, and these are the things we wanted to see from Maxi. That growth, those minutes. I will say this though, defensively, it's becoming an issue.
Yeah,
especially paired with Seth Curry on the court. You got two very small guards, and tonight it was a big problem because you got a big ball handler in Wagner, and you got Suggs, a very quick, kind of shifty downhill penetrator, and Orlando got a ton of buckets around the rim as a result. I mean, dribble penetration was the name of the game from Orlando.
Yeah,
and he did it often. And I thought it was kind of a complete miss on the Sixers coaching staff part, not to at some point go to some sort of zone.
Yeah.
Because Orlando is such a poor shooting team. I think I tweeted there's something like a 28th shooting team, field goal percentage-wise, and 25th from three. So perfect opportunity for you to stop the dribble penetration and go to a zone. The Sixers have not played any type of zone this year. It's very basic pick-and-roll defense.
Do you think they feel like they don't have the personnel to run a good zone defense?
They may not have the complete personnel, but they have Matisse Thybulle first and foremost, and they can put him at the top of a zone. And they can try different things, man. I mean, Orlando's a team to try stuff on. They're a terrible shooting team. And the Sixers, time and again, gave up dribble penetration tonight with any type of coaching adjustment. On the flip side, you saw Orlando go to a zone late in the game, and they almost got back into it and won the game. So, it's the creativity that we talked about with Doc Rivers. It's the stubbornness around doing the same thing over and over again. Mm-hmm. And I thought tonight would have been something different to try against a very, very poor shooting team.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. It's something that is definitely a problem at times with the Sixers, is the just creativity not being there. I do think it's harder to be creative as well when you have a lot of players that kind of do the same thing, if that makes sense. You have a lot of players that are strictly really on the court to shoot. You have some players that are strictly on the court to play defense and can't do much for you offensively. And then you got some guys who can just score down low. So it's like, I don't know. It's tough to be creative, especially offensively. And I know we're talking about defense right now, but I've noticed some offensive problems when your shooters aren't hitting shots. And I guess like on any team that's going to happen, but especially with the bench unit as of late. And I hate to do this because I know like it's hard to like point at bench players all the time and be like, this is why you're having a hard time. But like a big reason this team was having the success it was early in the season, even with Joel and Tobias being out, was because of guys like Furkan Korkmaz stepping up. And I can't tell you, and I wanted to tweet this out during the game. I decided not to, but like I wanted to. Every time Furkan Korkmaz shoots the basketball and doesn't hold his follow through, I know it's not going in.
Probably
It's most of the time when he's shooting a jump shot at least 3 feet off of the 3-point line. He won't hold his follow through. It'll just be like and it won't go in. And I'm just like, I just expect it not to go in at this point. Like he's hitting the back of the rim. He's not even hitting the rim. Like it's like, I don't know like early in the season, I felt like he wasn't going to miss every single time he shot the ball. And now the types of shots he's getting off, like he's not getting as many standstill jump shots off. A lot of them are going around a pick and then trying to shoot it off the dribble. And early in the season they were hitting, and now they're not.
Well, he hasn't had a follow through in about a month because he's been terrible shooting slump in the month of November. I mean, it's been really bad.
No, do you see what I'm talking about, though?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. Like, I definitely see what you're saying. It's inconceivable for me that he would at least give Isaiah Joe a little bit more of a run with Korkmaz struggling. I mean, how much worse can Isaiah Joe be at this point if you're getting very little to no production from Korkmaz?
See, I think the tough thing with that is Furkan does give you a little bit more options on the offensive end right now when it comes to the pick and rolls he runs, when it comes to the length he has a little bit more on defense, like when it comes to the height. Like you can throw Furkan at a small ball lineup at the power forward and kind of get away with it.
Yeah.
And also the fact that early in the season, Furkan really was playing really well and running the pick and rolls on defense, running the pick and rolls with the bench unit with Andre Drummond at times. Like I feel like Doc likes the versatility that Furkan puts out there. The problem is that it's like the idea of the versatility is better than the product right now of the versatility.
Yeah, but you got to find a way to get more offense on the court. And the other guy we had to talk about is Matisse Thybulle because we fall in love with the defense.
Yeah.
But he has been a horrific offensive player this year. I mean, horrific. I mean, there's no other way to put it. I mean, if he hits a 3-point shot, it's like a reason to celebrate at this point. Guy has not been finishing at the rim, turning the ball over, not making simple passes look difficult, not finishing at the rim. Sixers have to figure out a way to get more offense in games like tonight.
Yeah.
And, you go back to the Matisse Thybulle minutes, like what are you getting out of Matisse Thybulle offensively? You're getting absolutely.
The only thing I will say is tonight, I don't know if you can make that argument as much. I mean, he was 1 for 2 from 3. He had a block. He was 3 for 5 from the field with a rebound, 7 points. Like,
but it's
I don't
not
know if you can make that argument right now.
It's not just that. It's not just looking at the box score because if you watch the game, and I know you do, like,
yeah, of course,
the ball will swing to him.
Yeah,
with 7 or 8 seconds left on the shot clock. You got to shoot the ball, man.
Yeah,
you got to shoot the ball because the moment you don't, and you make that extra pass, now the offense is in complete scramble mode to try to get another shot off. So it's the shots that he doesn't take are also an issue. And we talked a lot about that with like Ben Simmons, right? When he was on the court, like you're in the corner, ball swings to you, take the shot. I mean, we're seeing the same type of stuff from Matisse Thybulle without the playmaking, without the scoring, without the other stuff that Ben Simmons brings to the table. So to me, like if I'm the coaching staff, I know they love Thybulle for obvious reasons defensively, but I look at it more critically in a game where you're in the low 90s. Like you don't need Matisse Thybulle defensively. Insert some more offense on the court and win the game by double digits. So I just don't understand that.
Yeah, and I don't think anyone can argue with you too much about it. I think people 2 years ago had a lot more were a lot more encouraged about the possibility of Matisse Thybulle growing into a legitimate like starter type of player because of what he brought on defense and then what he could bring on offense eventually. But it's definitely been lackluster to this point. And I think some of that has to do with opportunity on the offensive end.
Yep.
But we hope for growth. All you can say at this point is hope that he grows and hope Doc Rivers puts him in positions to grow. I think somebody that we should talk about offensively that has been just fantastic pretty much all season is Seth Curry.
Yep.
Seth Curry tonight, 24 points on 13 shots, 10 of 13 from the field, 2 steals, and 3 for 5 from behind the arc. Like, dude, the guy is like there's when the Sixers brought him on the team, I was pumped because of what I saw him do in Portland. Before he came before he went to the Mavericks, I was super excited about the opportunity he was going to get with the Sixers, especially after JJ Redick was no longer with the team. But like you could have told me that he was going to be this like mid-range killer that he is. On top of the fact that like the sharpshooting from the outside, like the catch and shoot shooting, I knew was going to be good with him.
Yeah.
Like I knew he could get guys like off penetrating a little bit, like kind of like I knew the pump fake penetration. He had the floater. He had like the off the glass moves. I did not know his mid range game was this like impressive, because it's not only is he hitting mid range shots where he's wide open on a dribble pull up, he's also hitting it in people's faces. And he's not that big. Like he's not a big dude. So like, what are your thoughts on Seth Curry?
I mean, he hit a huge corner three with the end of the shot clock late in the possession, the fourth quarter. So it's not just how he's getting the shots, but it's the fact that late in games, crunch times, we've seen that throughout the year. I mean, crunch time, he has been the most reliable crunch time scorer. It has not been Embiid, it's not been Tobias Harris or Maxey. It's been Seth Curry. So it's not just you said, because you're spot on how he's getting his shots, but the moments that he's getting his shots. So, he's doing over bigger guys, contested, open, does not matter. And to think that the Sixers got this guy on a basic salary dump and kind of guy who's another year for $8 million is pretty remarkable. I've been saying this all year. I think that Curry has finally found his footing with the Sixers. It seemed like he was struggling a lot with COVID last year after he came back from COVID.
Yeah.
That has not been the case this year. In the postseason, he was their second best player. You can make an argument that he has been their best player so far this year as Embiid starts to get ramped up to the season. So, no, nothing but respect for him. I think the Sixers need him right now at the moment, which is a sign of what they have on the roster, right? Because if you start saying things like we need Curry to get offense, then you have an offensive problem, because Curry should be a complementary piece to your offense, not your main offensive foundation. Now, granted, Embiid is the foundation piece.
Mm-hmm.
He's working himself back into shape or whatnot, but you are still relying on Curry to do a lot, and that's a problem. That speaks to, I think, a little bit of Tobias. Obviously Danny Green has been kind of a hit or miss so far this year. So, but while
I think a lot of that has to do with injury, honestly, with him.
Yeah. But right while they have Curry going hot, man, it's been fun to watch, and he's done a lot for them offensively as a point guard and as a shooter. So, nothing but love for him.
Yeah, and finally to get into, actually, I want to talk about Maxey because like a little bit. And I know we talked about it a bit, but like the fact he legit almost had triple double. He had 9 points, 9 assists, and 8 rebounds, which is kind of crazy. Yeah. But to talk about Joel Embiid, because for some reason we haven't talked about him yet in 20 minutes. But Joel Embiid had 16 points, 13 rebounds, 5 assists, but he had 16 points on 16 shots. Like, he's got to be – and, like, I love Joel, and, like, I think he is an amazing player. But he has to be one of the most confusing big men sometimes when it comes to efficiency, because you would think, like, and I know he's slowly taken a lot more mid-range shots over the past like year and a half, but like you really thought, like, when you look at the guy, you think, okay, he's humongous. He's gonna get a lot of efficient baskets, and it just doesn't seem to happen a lot. Like a lot of times, like, the only reason he's got 16 points is because he has 10 free throws. And I mean, tonight he had 7. So it's like, what are your thoughts on his game?
I mean, tonight they really tried to scheme him out of the game. I thought they went to that zone a lot, and you couldn't really you could see Embiid struggle to get good positioning in that zone.
Yeah.
He never really got comfortable settling into anything with rhythm. He was always like fighting for space, and once he got the ball, it was usually him trying to create off very contested looks. He's gonna have bad shooting nights, man. You can't live in the mid range and expect to be, an efficient output every single night, and that is fine. Like that is perfectly fine. That is not a criticism of Joel Embiid. To me, where I go with Joel, and I think it's a function of him being out for about a week and a half to 2 weeks, is the decision making right now is still not where it needs to be. Slow to move the ball around, to react to double teams. He had another crucial turnover today that almost led to an Orlando win. So it's just this decision making right now is a little bit off, which again, it should be a function of how he has not played in over 10 days, I think it was the time. So I'm okay with that. But, you hope that at some point during the year he can get some sort of cohesion with his game, because he has not been offensively dominant as he was last year. And with the exception of a few games, I thought last game against Minnesota was actually very impressive to watch. I thought he played a phenomenal game. So you hope that at some point he gets to that. But right now it's still like very hit or miss. So, the fact that Sixers can still survive a game like tonight from Embiid is like a function of Curry. And, hopefully that he can find some rhythm, because there'll be some tougher games in the schedule, man. Like Boston, they're a very tough defense. Golden State, very tough defense. And you're not going to make it easy on him. Not at all.
Something with him, and not only offensively, but I've noticed defensively. And actually, I think what I'm saying kind of affects both sides of the ball. He, in my opinion, like, is being very health conscious with himself when it comes to the type of effort he puts in on both ends of the court. I've noticed less times that he's tried to really go after rebounds or really go after blocks. Obviously, in like big moments of the game, he'll put more effort in, I've noticed. But when it comes to just like the normal throws of the game, he used to just be jumping all over the place, going for every block, going for every loose ball, trying to get every last bit of positioning and real estate on his defender in the paint. And now I notice that's not as much the case, which I'm personally okay with. Like, I'm okay with him taking some time and like trying to stay healthy, but I could also see people being like upset a bit about the fact that he's not doing as much.
Yeah, I mean, it's a November game against the Magic, man. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah.
I'm glad he's not doing much tonight.
Yeah,
man.
I agree with you, but there's a lot of people on social media that will make arguments saying, "Oh, Joel Embiid, it isn't that good. You can't build around him. You can't do like I see that a lot, and I know that our YouTube fans are usually pretty good about understanding and being smart basketball minds and thinking the way we are, but there are a lot of people out there who think that Joel Embiid has lost it because of the injuries or is not as good as what they need to be to go to the championship, all this kind of stuff.
Then I'll ask those people to watch Joel Embiid. And if you still think that to be the case, then I can't help you. I mean, you can look at numbers and box scores and trends and create this narrative that Embiid is not this player.
Yeah.
Yes, Embiid needs help. There's no question. He cannot do it by himself. But
of course,
how many centers have done it by themselves? Shaq had Kobe. Olajuwon eventually got Clyde Drexler, and the list goes on and on and on. So
Tim
Duncan and his whole team around them. So
well, actually, I guess he was technically power forward with David Robinson, but
I mean, you don't need to go down the Embiid rabbit hole to validate what a phenomenal player he is.
Of course.
Games like tonight is just him kind of easing him back into shape. But decision making, processing speed, those are the things that you want from Embiid, and that's the things he's got to work on. Those are the things he's got to deliver on when push comes to shove. And those are the things we continue to harp on in his game, because he is a fundamentally game shifting, league shifting player, and that's just who he is. So
yeah. I don't disagree. So, Tiago, do you have any more thoughts about this game in general? Any players you want to talk about or shout out this game?
No, I think we covered it all. I think that, you're just gonna kind of wipe this game off the map, man. They got Boston on Wednesday. That should be a fun game. Boston's playing good defense, and I'm always excited to see Jason Tatum shoot 2 for 20 against the Sixers. So it's always a fun time. So.
You had to sneak that one in there, didn't you? You had to sneak that one. Had to sneak that one in there. If anybody watching doesn't know, Tiago, go follow him on Twitter if you want to. If you ever see Jason Tatum have a night that is inefficient, I promise you will see a Tiago tweet. I promise you.
I've been keeping it quiet this year, but it's getting harder and harder to keep your mouth shut. Got a 2 for 16 last night.
Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah,
listen, we love JT. I've got a friend who is a big Boston Celtics fan. His name's Connor, and huge Boston Celtics fan. And Jason Tatum, drives him crazy. And he's
really?
he's believe it, he's a very educated basketball fan. He knows what he's talking about, typically, and. It's bad when you have your own Celtics fans saying it's bad.
They're starting to turn, man. They're starting to turn the guy, and I don't blame them. The guy.
There's a lot of Celtics fans out there that like Jaylen Brown better than Jason Tatum, and I can't disagree with them.
I can't either. I'm a huge Jaylen Brown fan. I wish it was a Sixers uniform right now, man.
Me too. But that's besides the point. Like we said, this is a post-game show for the Sixers and Orlando game, and the Sixers came out with the dub, 101-96. Tiago, let them know what you got going on.
Yeah, man, we're do these as much as we can. We got our morning cup of Joe with Chris. I don't know if we would do it tomorrow because Chris seems to be incognito. Yeah, he's feeling kind of
a little under the weather.
Yeah, so get well soon, Chris. And but yeah, we'll continue to do these and go from there. I mean, I know Justin saw you at the Blue Coats game last Saturday. It was a lot of fun. Make sure you check that out. Justin's content is top notch, and it's a lot of fun down there.
Oh, I appreciate that, man. Appreciate that. Yeah, you got a pretty nice video from the top section, though. I saw that.
Yeah, man. God,
nice video.
Yeah, try to get as much as you can from the Sixers top player because he may never play in a Sixers uniform.
The Blue Coats top player.
Blue Coats.
Yeah, Jaden Springer's look good down there. Same with Shaquille Harrison when he's been there. But yeah, so I guess let's get out of here, guys. Go follow Tiago at tscabby on Twitter. Go follow me as well at j_Persichetti. And go follow us for all Sixers, Blue Coats, Philly content. I don't know. We got a lot of stuff going on. So go follow us. Drop a like on the video if you haven't already. We'd really appreciate it. All likes help, and if the more you like and the more you comment on the videos, the more people will come and join the movement of TPL. So we really appreciate it if you do that. Yeah. We out.
Until next time. Tips.